up, man?
What's up?
Hey, dude, give me a beer.
We're fucking out of beer.
What do you mean we're out?
Fucking out.
We can't be fucking out. I just bought beer.
I know, we fucking drank it all.
Ah, fuck. Are you serious?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
I know, bro.
Ah, fuck.
Oh, WTF, there's no motherfucking beer left. I said WTF, there's no motherfucking beer left.
Hey, welcome back to the Final Gravity Podcast, a podcast about craft beer, life, friends, and existing on planet Earth. I am one of your hosts here always, Cousin T.
What's up, y'all? The Viking Peaches, once again joining you from beautiful sunshiny Bend, Oregon.
CJ Mueller, also known as the Groovy Bear, still in the Flathead Valley, still brewing beer, and still willing to talk about what's going on in the industry.
Vaguely willing. It's getting
Vaguely.
Vaguely willing, marginally willing.
willing enough.
The topics just get heavier and heavier, guys.
That they do, and this is like a few others we've had in the past are gonna be one for the fucking books. That's for damn sure.
This is a doozy of a topic here.
This is a doozy of a topic. We've taken a hiatus over the last couple of weeks, as all three of us are mostly back to work, doubles, and two of us were moving, and another guy was building stuff so he could live. It's been a fucking month, that's for damn sure. So we took some time to ourselves to get reacclimated to our lifestyles. And now we're back here to talk to you guys about beer. This block specifically, we're going to address the issues and concerns surrounding the stories that have come to light over the last 2.5 to 3 months, about how the females have been just harassed, sexually harassed, physically harassed, emotionally harassed in the craft brew and service industry. It's kind of fucked. It's really, really, really kind of fucked. And let me just predicate that we are three white dudes that are gonna talk about this.
Welcome to a podcast where three cis white males talk about the issues of females in brewing.
Yeah,
This is the mansplaining podcast.
So we're gonna do our best.
We're going to tell you how bad this is.
to not. We're gonna tell you how bad this is from our point of view, with no frame of reference to how it actually physically feels to be a female in a craft industry, and pardon me, just be like just sexual like the harassment stuff.
I like to think of it as we've all worked in this industry for a long time. I think we've all seen and experienced these things, like watching them happen to someone else. But that being said, we're probably like maybe middle schoolers in terms of that we've kind of seen things happen, but we've never really experienced it happening to ourselves. And we recognize that this episode is kind of about recognizing those things that are out there that none of us have had to experience as males in this industry. And then going forward, we are going to be trying to bring on some female voices in the next couple episodes. I've been in talks with a local brewery here in Bend, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Thomas and CJ both know some people over in the Flathead that we're going to try to bring on. We recognize that we are speaking from a platform of privilege in our lives in this industry. And we're not going to be trying to say these experiences as our own. We're just going to try to talk about the things that we've observed during this episode. And then we're going to try to build on that and use our platform to allow some other people to have a voice who know a lot more, who are like, the post grads to our middle school.
Who are like, they have doctorates in this shit.
Yes. Well, and Josh, if I'm not wrong, you did reach out to what's going to be the catalyst for this episode, which was Brienne Allen from Notch Brewing, who also has the Instagram handle at Rat Magnet. And
I recognized her busyness level. I haven't actually personally fully reached out to her. I did add her up on Instagram, and I'm following all the things she's talking about and sharing.
Okay, perfect.
More personally, I've reached out to Spider City Brewing Company here in Bend. They got started in 2018. Three girls. They met at Chico State, and they all have a passion for beer and brewing and everything that the brewing community involves. And it is a female-owned and operated brewery out of Bend, Oregon. Which they opened right before I
fucking
moved
rad.
out to Montana. So I never fully had the chance to go and check them out before moving to Montana. And in this post-COVID world, in moving home during the pandemic and stuff, I haven't made as good of an effort of checking out new places as I always would have liked. So today, before the podcast, I went by there just to check them out, have a couple beers there and really taste them. And then I brought a few home for tasting on today's Plato 1.
What are you drinking?
And reached out. Right now, I am drinking their. Get it out of the freaking trap koozie. I'm drinking their Peak to Peak Pale Ale, a 5.4% pale ale that they brew. Really doesn't have a whole lot of information on it on the can. Hoppy, malty, and flavorful, which I can honestly say is a pretty accurate assessment. Just a nice kind of balanced, easy drinking pale. I also have some sort of aged ale, I think, from them that I picked up in a 16-ounce can, sitting in the fridge for after this. And I tasted one of their porters while I was down there today. That was really good. A really nicely balanced porter. It wasn't like over the top on any one particular flavor. It was just kind of a really well done porter. All of their beers are kind of designed by their head brewmaster, Melanie, who part of it's going to be a slightly different block 3 most likely on this block because Plato 3, because I'm probably going to have the opportunity to sit down and interview all 3 of the owners, but specifically we want to make sure that I have the chance to talk with Melanie as a head brewer in the industry, working for a female-owned and operated brewery, being one of those owners and being a head brewer of it.
Yes. So
which is really cool.
Before we continue to go any further into the evening,
yes,
just a quick layout of this block for those that are listening. Tonight we will be tasting beer as per usual for Plato 1. We all have beer that is either brewed by or owned and brewed by a woman in the craft brewer industry. Block 2 or Plato 2 will be, we're hoping to have a guest on. If she can't make it, we understand. Might be able to have a few other lineups. We're not really sure yet, but we'll be talking a little bit more about their experiences. And then as Josh just mentioned, when we get to Plato 3, we will have a full-on sit-down interview with a brewery out of Bend, Oregon that is owned, operated, and run by all women, which I think is pretty fucking cool.
I'm pretty excited for that one. Yeah, I just kind of reached out to them over Instagram, and
Amen.
super cool. The 3 owners, it was Melanie. Let me make sure I get this right. Melanie, Tammy, and let's see if I don't fuck this up. Not that one. Melanie, Tammy, and Michelle are the 3 owners of it. And I'm hoping to at least talk to at least one, if not all 3 of them. And just be able to, especially in the brewery town that Bend is, hear their experience. Because I don't think there's a single other brewery in this town that's owned by a woman, let alone with a woman head brewer, let alone all of it, right? And they're killing it too. Like, they make dope beers. Like I said, this is my first day ever trying them, and I'm a fan already.
You have to send some this way at some point.
I would look forward to tasting those beers. That sounds amazing.
I think we
very
can
much
arrange
agreed.
that.
Very much agreed.
That being said, what kind of
continuing
beers
on-
did you guys manage to pick up out there? Because I've been kind of curious to see what
we
you
picked
could
up
find.
a bit of a charcuterie plate of beers. So we've got
I
2.
do love my meats and cheeses and breads.
We picked up 2 U.S. local, or 3 U.S. local beers, and 1 from Belgium, which is run and I don't know. Well, it's not necessarily run by her, but she has been overseeing the brewing program for the last 46 years.
Oh fuck yeah!
and we will get to the details on that. I am currently drinking Fremont's Lush IPA because, as CJ will now explain to you, Fremont is
Co-founded by Sarah
Co-founded.
Nelson.
her and her husband opened up Fremont, and their head brewer's name is.
That I don't have in front of me.
I had it.
I wish I did.
I will say, just to correct myself while you're trying to think of that.
her and her husband Matt Lincecum though opened up Fremont, and easily one of my favorite packaging breweries on the West Coast, especially for hoppy beers.
Now that you say that, I can't think of one other brewery locally to Central Oregon that is owned at least partially by female. Porter's Brewing Company was opened by Avara and her husband Devin.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
Well, and Heater
as
Allen.
many people know, I hang out there often down at their cellar location in Bend. That is a husband-wife duo that own that.
Since we're talking about Oregon, let's not forget about Heater Allen. I think it's closer to the coast, but Lisa Allen opened up one of the most prestigious lager breweries in Oregon of all time, in my personal opinion. Anyway, I'm sorry, T. You were looking for the head brewer there of Fremont.
I'm still searching. So talk about
another minute to look. On that topic, I think that's kind of a thing to point out in that when you think specifically of female-owned and or operated breweries, there's probably a lot of these really small breweries that are husband-wife duos. But I think it's probably really easy to overlook that kind of combination. And just in today's society, the way that it's been founded, a lot of breweries are owned and operated by dudes. And now that it's kind of more mainstream and easier for it to be like a family dynamic, it's probably really easy for people like us who have been in the industry for a long time to overlook those contributions that, I know at Porter Brewing Company, Devin does the brewing, but I mean, him and Avara both spend at least an equal amount of time doing all the scheduling and books and everything on the back end of it. And it wouldn't be a successful, amazing fucking brewery if it wasn't for her contributions to it. But that's a really easy one to overlook.
Yep. And I'm reading that right now is her husband, Matt
Lincecum is
the head brewer. But I'm pretty sure she runs the show from what I gathered up on their website.
I would piggyback on what Josh said and say that I'm very lucky to work for a what I will call a partnership brewing company between a husband and a wife, between a married couple, and I
that's good.
I am super grateful for both aspects of that partnership.
Did you mention what you're drinking?
Oh, I'm right on page with you.
Oh, okay, you went for the Lush
as well. Yeah. Which is
continue what you were saying, but then let's talk about that beer. I want to hear about it.
Let's do it. No, just you're right, Josh, that there is a lot of aspects and moving parts of any service industry job that require things that don't always hit the spotlight. And it's really nice to shine a light on them and say, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without either part of my management team.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you who gives me the go ahead on most of it, and it's Carla. She's the one who says it's okay. So we are drinking, T and I are drinking Fremont Lush, which again, Sarah Nelson is a co-founder and her husband is the head brewer. Fremont Brewing is out of Seattle.
Yes, Seattle, Washington,
and they are easily one of the better packaging breweries on the West Coast right now. They make amazing IPAs. We're drinking the Lush, which is 2-row American Pale Ale and Citra Mosaic and Citra Cryo hops.
Yep,
and it's
juicy.
It's pale and delightful. It's a West Coast IPA.
It's very,
I'm
very,
trying
very
to think
juicy.
of where I saw or heard of that recently because that beer crossed my table very recently. I don't know when or where, but I feel like I was drinking. Yeah, I was pretty drunk when I was drinking it too.
We've got it in 12-ounce cans. It's got a fun logo. Whoops, that's not how cameras work.
Oh, I do like that logo.
Nice,
just for the
easy
sake of
white cans
showing.
with a hot vine
I'm
on it.
actually a pretty big fan of the Spider City
Oh, tight.
label that they have on this one.
Like,
Oh, that's cool.
like
That's kind of a cool
like
artwork,
watercolor style.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan.
I'm a fan. I like it. I dig it.
Also, quick shout out. The reason I'm struggling so much with my koozie, if y'all don't have Toadfish koozies, this is entirely not sponsored, but these things are fucking amazing. They
Shameless.
stick
plugs,
onto
dude.
everything.
Shameless plugs.
Love it. I just got it in the mail today and awesome koozie.
Yeah, this beer is bright for the most part. It's got a little bit of haze to it, but it is just as juicy as any fucking Western New England style IPA.
Smells like a gym sock loaded with citra hops.
That's not a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad
It's
thing.
got
I mean,
that. It's got that funk to it, which I can appreciate.
if you're using Citra and Mosaic, you're going to get some stank from it, and it
Put some
definitely
stank
is there.
on it.
It's delicious though. Fuck, it's fucking fantastic. It's packaged perfectly.
And they will be followed very closely by Fremont's Head Full of Dynamite Hazy IPA, which is I think we've had this one on in the past, just not this version of it.
This version, it's an experimental hazy IPA where they play with hop combinations.
So if
and
you go,
I could not find anything on their website about this. I think this is the most recent version.
okay, because if you go to their website and you search for Head Full of Dynamite, it gives you like,
I think there's like 6 or 8 of them on there now.
dude, there's more than that. There's got to be probably a dozen or a dozen and a half different labels that they make for every version that they've come out with. And
Josh, how's your beer going down?
Smooth.
Yeah.
Really, really smooth.
smooth.
In fact, it's a 16-ounce can, and it's very close to gone.
Too easy.
As much as I want to crack that other one, I also really just want to crack another one of these. It's mellow. It's a nice light pale ale, which is kind of, I will say when I walked into Spider City, they had a really large list of beers for me to look at up on chalkboard slats. And I just kind of winged it and just picked a couple and went with it. But I figured for the podcast, I could kind of go with one more standard, just pale ale. We all know I'm not a huge IPA guy at this point in my life. And then the other one I'm extremely excited to try.
Same, very, very much the same.
But yeah, it's just a light, easy drinking, well-balanced pale ale. It's definitely got that kind of hoppiness to it. More that standard dry mouthfeel. But really just easily drinkable. It's got a nice kind of citrus on the back end, so it just kind of keeps you wanting a little bit more. It kind of helps that thirst. It quenches your thirst, but makes you want more, if you know what I'm saying. It's like drinking lemonade on a hot day where you're like, oh man, I could just chug a fucking gallon of this, where it's like it's quenching your thirst, but you also just really want more.
Sugar. I believe sugar does that. Like,
Yeah, probably, but
man,
I
that's
don't know.
really
I wouldn't
good.
say it's sweet, but it just yeah, I could sit out on the deck and drink a lot of this shit.
Hell, yes.
Well, to make the best use of our time as we're sipping and enjoying these beautiful beers made by excellent female brewers.
CJ,
I wanna-
take it away.
I want to give a couple shots out right now. Fifth Hammer Brewing, Lost Coast Brewing, Rhythm Beer Company. You guys are amazing.
Ale Apothecary.
Ale Apothecary. I know that this is not the episode and we're tasting, but I've sat in this industry long enough to say, like, if you're out there doing it, fuck yeah. It shouldn't matter who you are. Fuck yeah. So I'm going to do shots out throughout the whole episode. I've got a whole list of breweries I want to just say hey to. And those are the first ones. We'll say Ale Apothecary, Fifth Hammer, Lost Coast, and Rhythm Beer Co. Thank you, not only for being a proud female and or person of color run brewery, but for just making excellent beer.
Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, both.
Right. Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, mostly, in a weird way, mostly want to thank you for making excellent beer. And this isn't to marginalize any of that. I would love it if we got to a point as an industry, and I know we're not remotely close to that right now, but I would love it if we got to a point as an industry where it doesn't have to be such a unique thing for it to be a female brewed beer, right? Like I think there should be, or a person of color, or obviously I know right now as an industry we're not at that point. It's primarily fucking white dudes making beer, and it's been a boys club for a long fucking time. I'm really excited for the day that it's not that anymore. And so right now as an industry, I think we should absolutely be celebrating. And I'm so thankful for all those companies for being out there and pioneering it and pushing and making fan-fucking-tastic beers.
Absolutely.
I look forward to the day where that's part of the norm too.
And if we don't get to it on Plato 2, which is usually our somewhat educational episode, let us remind ourselves, brewing wasn't always a boys' club. In fact, for a long time, it was quite the opposite. And hopefully we get to get into a little bit of the history of that down the road.
I think it's a good topic to take up on Plato 2.
Plato 2. I'm wrapping up this delicious Fremont Lush right here, which is fucking fantastic.
Oh,
would you call it luscious?
Lush.
I would call it if you wrapped the most overripe mangoes in a dirty gym sock, delicious. That's what I'd call it right now. That's its IPA version right there for me. It's fantastic.
Fair enough.
Well done, Sarah Nelson. Well done.
I wouldn't call it luscious. I would call it lush-ish. You know,
Lush-ish. All right. I can vibe with
that. I have moved on to the Fremont's Head Full of Dynamite, and yeah, that's a hazy cloud bomb right there.
I'm about to go grab another beer real quick while you guys talk about that.
That's some straight fucking thickness.
I'm cracking it. I couldn't find any deets on this bad boy. But that looks very hazy. Oh, yes.
I got straight like pine and cedar, like straight up.
Cedar's a good call. Cedar's a really good call.
Hey, wait do you take a sip of that, dude? And tell me
there's some lemon and dill on the back end of it too.
That smell, like when you taste it, you're gonna be like, oh man, like cedar and pine needles.
Ooh, it's a really soft lemon and pine to me. I don't get cedar necessarily in the mouthfeel. I get it all, or on the taste. I get it all on the aroma. It's just very much lemon and pine.
Just extremely jealous of that because I love pine and cedar beers.
It kind of it smells like funky rotty lemon and dill.
Josh, your cat didn't want to play with you.
His cat is over for the weekend.
Your cat sitting for the weekend?
Niece. Yep.
That's hilarious.
Ooh,
Tyler's going out of town.
The malt bill's backed up with just a really nice kind of semi-sweet 2-row to Vienna kind of backbone to it. Is what it feels like. That's a fun beer. I would crush those on the river.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour a little bit more.
What's the ABV on that shit?
According to the can, 6.8.
6.8. Yep. All right.
And
that's delicious. Head Full of Dynamite, Fremont Brewing.
Well, that's a fucking good beer.
The tagline or the quote on the side of my can says, "Friends bring happiness into your life. Best friends bring beer."
Gosh, that smells like straight herbs and lemon on the nose. That's got a very savory note behind it. That's so pleasant.
See, I still get, even on the nose, I get some type of like.
You get some cedar?
I get some cedar. I don't know.
I can see that. I get something skewing into oregano.
But I don't mean like cedar and like the wood. I mean like cedar greens, like the branches.
I get something very woody aromatic and very herbaceous aromatic, so I can see that.
That's
my nose is skewing it to oregano or rosemary, and it's really a pleasant fucking smell.
Ooh, well done in the packaging, because there's definitely enough CO2 in here.
Josh, you drinking the same, or are you drinking something different over there?
Something different.
What you got,
Talk to us. Talk to us.
Fucking
Talk
delicious.
To me, Goose.
This is still from Spider City. This is their Cherrywood Smoked Ale.
What?
Oh my God, this beer is fucking amazing.
I honestly can't wait to get into the two beers that we have backed up.
Holy shit. So I will say, just looking at the packaging and labeling first, one thing that I've started to notice from the first beer that I had from them as well is they don't really talk much on their packaging about the beer, right? Like, let's pull that out.
Do you find that to be a negative or a positive there? I mean,
No, I kind of like it.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you can, if you're reading a beer list and you see the descriptors and everything, it kind of lets you know what you're in for and what to expect. This one, it just, super simple packaging. And on both of them, I was kind of looking for a descriptor of the beer or anything. This one is a cherrywood smoked ale. And under the description, it says, it's all about the beer brewed by this company. On the last can that I had in that same description spot, it just says 3 college friends from Chico State decided to start a brewery because of their love of beer. And that's it, right? Like, it's not giving you these long-winded, flavorful descriptions of the beer, but because of that, you're really just forced to experience what you experience in the beer. You're not going into it with a predication of what you expect to taste. And I kind of like that. Because especially on a tasting episode for a podcast, it's kind of fun to just see what you get out of it. And this one, I mean, obviously the beer itself is a cherrywood smoked ale, so you kind of expect a lot of that out of it. And you get a lot of that out of it.
I just want to say real quick, and I'm going to segue and left turn real hard, but
yeah,
I miss doing this, and I'm glad we're doing it again.
Does feel good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
It's definitely been a minute. I know we came back for season 3 and we knocked out block 1 real quick. And then again, life happened to 3 out of 3 of us. To 3 out of 3 of us. But it feels really good.
I think it happened to like 5 out of 3 of us. Honestly.
Yeah, you're fucking right. But yeah, it feels really good to be back and doing this again. God damn it.
But yeah, no, this is 5.8% ABV. Ooh. So it's a light beer, but having that like smoked ale quality of it, like it feels hefty. Like you're drinking it and you're like, you don't feel like it's a higher ABV, but it's a strong beer in terms of flavor, which I really appreciate because like I don't like getting trashed on like 10% fucking beers that have been aged in.
Oh no.
Is that technical
in the
difficulty
barrel,
right
but
there?
I can have all that.
Hey, Josh, we're going to have you back up because you cut out there for a minute. Oh, you paused again.
Wait for it.
See you.
One sec. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've been having internet issues at the house. We had a cable guy out for like 2 hours before this podcast started, so
I mean,
hopefully it doesn't continue.
I was gonna make like an AOL modem reference, but nothing quickly came to mind. And usually I'm a little bit quicker than that.
I got you $1. Gotta be quicker than that.
God damn it. God, that's good shit. You got to upgrade from that 56K though.
Fucking A, right? Where'd you lose me on the beer talk?
You were.
Hello.
I only paused because I was trying to actually remember what you were saying, and I was trying to catch your attention. Shit.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. It was.
Let's try that again.
It's rare and replay from the top. No, it's rare for me to find a beer that has that smoked, woody, barrel-aged flavor that isn't also like a 10% beer, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
How often does that happen? This is I mean, it's 5.8%, but it has such a strong, whole, fully woody flavor to it. And I love that because like I don't really want to drink a 10% beer 90% of the time, but I love a beer that has this kind of flavor. So like
I wonder
most of the time if I walk into a brewery and I see something like this.
No, go ahead. I'm just thinking about like
Oh yeah.
the possible things that could be. Like it could literally just be like smoked cherry wood fucking chips thrown in its secondary.
It could have been. Yeah, I don't really know. And I mean that could be a question we could ask Melanie when I get to talk to her.
How'd you do this?
But how, why, when?
Well,
please
cher-
more.
cher- cherrywood smoked malt's a thing now. Cherrywood smoked malt is a thing now.
Is it
So
is that
yeah.
that
Really?
malt style a
Yes.
thing now? Okay.
Yes, absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
don't
it's
know. I
think it's such a clever
I
play
like
to
it
put
because-
a smoked brew at a low ABV.
No, I like that because normally if I walk into a brewery and I see a beer that I would assume would taste like this and it's sitting at like an 11%, I'm like, I want to taste that beer. I want to drink
But I
that
don't want
beer.
to drink that beer.
But because it's
But
11%, it's gonna fucking
I would
ruin my
say
night.
9.9 times out of 10. Yeah, I don't want to be drinking that hefty of a beer, right? Like,
9.9%
so I usually walk
out
in
of
and I
10.
order 9.9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100 fucking times I walk into a brewery. I'll see a beer like that and I'll be like, yeah, could I get your Pilsner and a taster of that beer, right? Like I'm very, very rarely ordering a pint of that, but at 5.8%, fucking give me a pint of this all day long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fuck.
So, well fucking done, Melanie. Oh my God. That might be one of my that might be close to my favorite beer in town right now. Honestly.
Of the 4 beers that the 3 of us have drank so far tonight, I'm just like, well done, ladies. Well fucking done.
And
Well-
then was
well
that
fucking done.
is that Spider City? Is that what that was?
Spider City Brewing Company, which I'm still a little curious about the name. I read their about on the website. I think they called their garage Spider City, where the 3 of them started brewing together. So I'm assuming there was like a lot of spiders in their garage back in the day. So they called their garage Spider City, hence the name of the brewing company.
Love it.
That was my interpretation of their about. I'm really
Love
curious
it.
to find out if that's kind of where that actually was.
I'm very much looking forward to either you interviewing them or us sitting down and having a conversation with them, because
Yeah, seriously.
so many questions, and you can write that one down, Josh. Like, where did the name come from? Why did the 3 of you decide to fucking open a brewery? I mean, even though it gives you like, 3 friends from college decided to open a fucking craft brewery because they love beer. I'm gonna want a little bit more than that.
Right. No, yeah, I'm curious to hear more of the backstory about it for sure. And that'll definitely be something that whether we all get to interview them or if I'm just doing that on my own, I definitely want to dive into the backstory of how that all got started.
I'm intrigued. I'm very, very
Man,
much
that's-
intrigued.
Yeah. Me as well.
I personally just think that women in particular bring a different, not skill set to brewing, because brewing, we all know it's procedure based. You have to do the same things, but I feel like they bring a different element of creativity to brewing. Like a lot of dudes that run and brew beer, like, stick to the standards. They don't vary and outside the box very much. I mean, aside from a few of the top brewers. I mean, CJ, you're even one of them because you're doing a lot of fun things over at your brewery too. But I feel like there's something to be said for the difference in the creativity and how men look at beer versus how women look at beer, and the creativity behind them putting together their grist and putting together their hop profiles and what yeasts they want to use. Like that's just something that I see. Like, you ask a guy and a woman to look at a basket of fruit and paint it. You know what I mean? Like, still shot paint it. Like, whether they're a painting class or just doing whatever, you're going to get something completely different out of the male perspective versus the female perspective. And I think what they're bringing to the table is making us question a lot of the things that we're doing with our beers and pushing our own creative boundaries as men. Because when was CJ, and I'll ask you this because you'll know better than me. When was the last time you saw something that said cherry wood smoked pale ale?
It's been a hot second. You know, I always feel as though there's not a better or worse perspective. There's just a lack of recognition that there has been a perspective.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying there's like one is better than the other. It's just a completely
right.
It's like
no. I know what
perception.
you're going after.
Yeah,
I know what you're going after. It's this very wonderful idea that that we see things differently, and we're taught and we're infused for a long time to believe that that's a bad thing. And it's like, no, that's a fucking great thing. I can go back to my days of line cooking. I can go back to my days of fighting. I got my ass kicked sometimes by people of an opposite gender than mine. Doesn't fucking matter. There's ways of seeing this world that we need to be taught how to comprehend. And by excluding a certain sect of it just because of one iota, that's ridiculous. Let us not forget, again, we're about to drink a beer brewed by a 96-year-old woman. The idea that we are creating an industry that is so misogynistic and toxic toward this sect of our society is infuriating.
Well, I think the idea is at this point, the industry has been created against that sect, but I think at this point, the idea is to stop letting that be the thing, right? Like,
right.
We want to. I mean,
100%.
I am blanking on her name now, but part of the reason this whole block came up, the part of the reason this whole 3-episode block came up.
Brienne Allen.
Yeah, thank you. She has really been outing a lot of breweries and a lot of females' experiences with the misogyny at breweries on Instagram and social media, and it's amazing. Like, I'm sure all three of us could sit here and talk about countless stories of seeing sexism and misogyny and bullshit in the workplace. But honestly, at the end of the day, our stories of that don't really matter as much as hearing it directly from the source of where it happened. And here's this woman who is standing up. And realistically, when she started doing this, she risked her career as a professional in the brewing industry because it's an industry that's so dominated by male figures,
which is fucked up because what CJ said earlier, it for the longest time it was a woman thing. It was
exactly.
I gotta go.
So here's this woman who really stood up and risked it all to put it out there and to put her and other women's experiences out there in the industry. And CJ, do you remember her Instagram handle off the top of your head?
I believe it's at Rat Magnet.
Yeah,
that's what I know
at Rat Magnet.
At Rat Magnet.
I highly recommend everyone who cares about this topic go and check her out, follow what she's doing, support what she's doing. Because I mean, we could sit here and talk, and we could share all the stories that we've seen firsthand ourselves. But at the end of the day, what she's doing is making a way bigger difference than we ever will. And we're going to do our best to continue to support that. But seriously, go check out at Rat Magnet on Instagram and wherever else she exists as a online entity doing what she's doing. It's really cool to see this change happening in the industry because it's a change that has been needed for a long time.
Great. And to be clear, she is also a brewer at Notch Brewing, which is a fantastic brewery.
Where's Notch out of?
No, I want to say Massachusetts, but I might be wrong on that.
So if you're there, go buy her beer.
Please go buy her beer.
Support her.
Please go support that shit. God, I want to say Massachusetts. Oh man, I'm biffing it now.
Let's see if I can find this out.
Which is this?
This is Brienne's brewery, Notch. I'm pretty sure it's Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Um,
it's in the new
Yep,
Massachusetts,
Notch Brewing out of.
Salem, Mass. There we go.
Salem,
Yep.
Mass. I don't know.
So seriously,
I
if
don't
you're in
know
the
why I wanted to
Massachusetts
say
area
Vermont,
or have
but
access to their beer, support the hell out of that. Buy her beers, but also seriously, just check her out. Check out her profiles online, and like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And here we go.
If you want to know anything about how fucked up this industry has been, like if you're not part of the industry and you haven't seen it, I could tell you countless stories myself, but just go read the shit she's been posting.
Yeah,
because
our
that will
opinions-
tell you way more than I ever could.
our experiences don't pale in comparison to the amount of shit that these women have gone through and dealt with over the last
And
who knows how long.
right. And while we're on this, I'm going to go ahead and jump in one more time and do my shameless plug for Harlem Brewing Company out of Harlem.
Harlem, New York, New York.
You know what I'm saying? Celeste Beatty is the first African American owner and operator of a brewery in the United States. That is huge. Founded in 2000.
That's amazing.
That's fucking huge. You've got Lauren Salazar out of New Belgium. She's running arguably one of the best barrel aging major programs in the country. And she's a female. That's fucking huge. So I just want to jump in right there and say, while we're talking about all these people, I don't want to leave anybody out tonight. And I know we're going to leave people out, but let's not forget these big people out of there doing big things.
Just real quick, one more I can think of. Tanya from 10 Barrel. She's like the fucking queen of sour ales in Bend. She's killed that shit. I mean, I don't care. Say what you want about 10 Barrel sellout. We could talk about that on an entirely different episode someday. But
Different
God
episode
damn
for
it, she
another
makes
time.
damn good beers, and she fucking revolutionized some of that shit around here. So
This
fucking keep killing it.
this workforce, just like the restaurant, just like the bar, just like the hospitality as a whole, we have to understand that it became a men's game because of capitalism. It was always a feminine game before that. And look, y'all do it better than we do. I'm going to go ahead and say that as a male cis, y'all do it better than we do.
Y'all do most things better than we do.
And
Yeah, because
when-
most men have too much fucking ego and can't get out of their own goddamn way.
when these
True
stories
facts.
started coming out about the breweries, it was painful because I'm very lucky to work for a very equal based company. But man, I knew some people that were talked about, and I knew some people that did the talking, and it was not fun to have to face that reality of this is still a prominent problem in the brewing industry. And again, I know we're three white dudes, but this is out there, and fuck that shit, man. Fuck those
I'm not
guys
gonna
who
lie.
did that
and
shit.
I'll go ahead and say right here and right now, I started working at a brewery when I was 16 years old, right? Like 16 or 17 at the latest. Like I've been in the restaurant industry my whole life. And being born as young as I am, being born in 94, like I'm old enough to be part of some of these movements and to have seen them happening in my lifetime, but I'm also young, or I'm young enough to be a part of that, but I'm old enough to have been a part of this industry before these changes really started happening. And I'm happy. Well, I'm sad to admit, but I will admit, that I want to change, and that there were experiences when I was younger where this was the norm. And I'm sure I have said more than my fair share of offensive and derogatory and bad things that I shouldn't have said, be it to women or just any coworker, right? Like it's a toxic industry, and we all know that. We've all been a part of it. And I have actively been trying over the last few years of my life to not do that as much, because there's certain things that it was just kind of a part of the norm growing up and being indoctrinated into this industry, that's what you said, that's what you do, that's how you act. And I feel like I recognized pretty early on, like, okay, I don't like that and I don't want to do that, but I'm sure parts of it rubbed off on me, and I'm sure I've said my fair share of dumbass shit too. And And I'll openly admit to that. I will openly apologize for that because Lord knows I never wanted to be that guy, but I'm sure I was at some point. And so to anyone else I ever offended in that way, I'm sorry. And I want to do my part to fucking be better about that because we're in a modern world where we can be better about that.
That's a statement I would like to echo. Josh, that was a powerful statement.
Same here, buddy. Same here.
Yeah. I just know back in high school, I could think of a few moments specifically that it's like, wow, man, maybe I shouldn't have said those things. And maybe I shouldn't have just laughed at that other guy's joke even, right? Like
that was the hardest one early on in the industry was not having the tools to understand that just because it was somebody else's comment didn't make me complicit, right? And not reacting to it.
It's not even so much the tools, it's the knowledge gained through experience over time where, you know, I mean, Josh, you're in your mid to late 20s. CJ, you're in your early 30s. I'm in my late 30s. We all fuck you agree about how fucked up all of this stuff has been, but it's taken time to get to the understanding that what we did when we were kids does not hold us to who we are today.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't continue, if we haven't continued to perpetuate that stereotype of making those jokes so people laugh or passing those comments down the line or saying probably things you shouldn't be saying, you know, like we've all learned at some point in our lives, otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah. I mean, we all learn to say those things, but we can all unlearn and stop saying those things also.
Yeah, we learned how and why to say it because we were young and immature and stupid, and we just wanted to make our friends laugh. We wanted to look good in front of those people. But now you realize that those people are also human beings that feel and experience and perceive things the same way we do in a different way, that there's absolutely no reason to say or do or comment on those things anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, should we take a quick break? So
Actually, that was perfect because there's enough silence there that I can fucking break. I can cut the break.
Perfect. Right there's a perfect spot to break.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Oh, what's up, bud?
Bellissimo. Well done, fellas. Well done.
Real quick, guys.
Por favor.
Let me just Kona, come here. Kona. There's Kona. Kona.
Oh, right. I'm just in your ears and she can't hear me.
Now, my parents are out at a fancy dinner tonight, so I've got the door open for Kona and
nice.
Tyler's cat.
Nice. 3 to 5, because I'm sure some of us need to pee. I want to go have half a cigarette. We need to crack open a fucking free New Belgium fucking 10% triple. And then we've got a beer in a 750 from a lady that has been doing this since the 60s. She is 96 years old, and
I want that.
more than likely the oldest woman in brewing today.
Dude,
Might
that
be.
sounds fucking bomb.
Might be.
Yeah, no, I've only got more of the same two that I've been drinking, but I know which one I'm drinking more of.
That cherry smoke, isn't
Dude,
that good?
It's so fucking
Dude,
good.
you're gonna have to send some shit out here, man. I will Venmo you for a fucking 4-pack
Hey,
of those.
let's
We'll make that happen. I'll go back in.
Let's get him on for a live interview. Dude.
If Josh
Yeah, I
has to
was
do the
telling,
interview himself, that's fine. But I will literally Venmo you to send us the Spider City fucking cherry smoked wood ale
Oh no,
so that we can
I'm
drink
gonna
it
go back
during
hopefully
Plato
tomorrow
3.
to pick some more up so I can send some up to you guys. CJ, I don't remember if I was telling Thomas this on the phone or if I said this earlier before we were recording. The head brewer of Spider City, which is specifically one of the people that we want to try to have on when I was talking to their social media
Melanie.
girl. But Melanie is a partial owner and a head brewer in Spider City Brewing Company. She owns a wine bar in downtown Bend, which is also their like downtown tasting room aside from their main tap room. And then she also owns a wine bar in fucking Chicago. So she travels and is
And she
unavailable a lot.
obviously
So like
likes her
whatever
very
day
complex
I can,
fermented beverages.
yeah. So whatever day I can like work out to just fucking sit down with her specifically, and ideally all of them, I'm gonna take that opportunity. If it works out for us to
You
all
have
be there,
you have to do that. You have to do that.
but yeah,
Yeah, do
that's happening. No matter what, that's happening. It would be awesome if we could all be there for it, but that's why I was saying like come up with some questions in the next like few days and just send them to me
100%.
because
100%.
yeah. Did you get your phone shit worked out?
It's all worked out, baby. I'm back on the same number. I'm available now.
That's why I started sending group texts
Perfect.
again.
It took
Perfect.
a hot second. It was a real pain in the dick, but I finally figured it out.
So now, after that fun little rant, we're going to move on to the third beer for me and CJ tonight, which we picked up, which I do believe we dropped a shout out to already, which is New Belgium.
Lauren Salazar.
This is the New Belgium Belgian Reserve Honey Orange Tripel, a Belgian style ale brewed with African honey and fresh ground Seville orange peels. It's
That
a
sounds fucking delicious.
It's a 12-ounce bottle and it's 10%. It means almost every ounce is a percentage of alcohol. Good grief.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, man.
That shit smells good, dude. That shit
Although, I mean,
smells
if you want to break it down
fantastic.
mathematically in that way,
Just popping the fucking cap on this bottle, like just wafted through the room.
Yeah, I can fuck with that.
All right, I don't want to pour too much of this because it's 10% and I have things to do tomorrow. But
That's why I want to pour all
look
of
at
it
the
out.
fucking clarity on that bad boy.
fucking cheers to that.
Super bright,
Oh, damn.
great fucking head retention, even though I didn't fucking pour much. The
I'll
nose,
say, actually,
is-
I never poured one of these into a glass. I'll be right back.
oh, the nose. What do I smell? God, that smells good. Oh yeah,
It's honey and orange all the way through and through, while still being a Belgian Tripel.
yeah, because you get like a thin sweetness up front, and then all of a sudden the malt body just hits you, like dries your tongue out a little bit, makes you want to come back for another sip.
It smells like orange grams and or orange marmalade and Teddy Grahams.
Orange
Honey Teddy
grams,
Grahams.
orange Teddy grams.
Orange grams.
That sounds
Orange
fucking
grams.
delicious.
CJ, you want to adjust about 13 to 23 degrees to your right?
Ooh, hello.
You're
Yeah.
a little out of frame.
Should get in that camera a little bit. Hi guys, what's up?
Oh, hey.
This is a delightful beer.
Well, I forgot the idea of pouring Gleer into a glass. Pouring beer into a glass during this episode. This is that smoked cherrywood ale.
Well, that looks good.
Oh yeah.
That honestly
hazy.
looks like thick apple cider, like from the farm. Not like apple cider in the terms of like an alcoholic cider beverage. No, that looks like fucking apple cider out of a fucking jug, made straight from fucking apple mash on a farm.
Dude, this fucking Tripel from New Belgium is fucking delicious and does not drink like a 10% beer. Like I would drink more than one of these and then 20 minutes later be like, why am I fucking wasted?
There's two things I want with this. I either want a cheese plate, probably blue cheese focused, or something stinky, or I want some Indian food because cardamom and this shit, cardamom would rip this shit apart. A little black pepper and cardamom would just tear this flavor profile apart.
I want a piece of cheesecake with this beer.
I can see that. I
I just want fucking cheesecake.
Like some type of like lemon cheesecake or like lemon meringue pie. Oh,
it's pretty tasty.
god damn, that is good.
Hey, if you're gonna buy New Belgium these days, buy the Belgian beers. They're still killing it. They're still fucking killing it.
Oh, that malt body is so creamy.
I mean, it kind of harks back to some previous episodes. Just buy something different. Go out of your comfort zone. Support people trying new shit.
Buy something other than a fucking IPA. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that loud?
No, that's about right.
Well, this is a delicious beverage that we're drinking right now. This is super tasty.
Holy crap.
And again, here's another female brewer who's making a case for what's up. She arguably operates the biggest barrel program and fooder program of most modern breweries. Lauren Salazar, dude.
I mean, New Belgium is. I don't think of them as like a microbrewery, right? Like I know they are.
Oh, they were one of the first, but now they are very much a macro brewery.
I mean, I guess they're a craft brewery still, though, right? Like they're making good, real beer. And I just don't think of them that way, but god damn, they are. And that's fucking phenomenal.
And I tell you what, reading the description on the side, they sourced everything from smaller. Well, I don't know how small some of these companies are, but the description reads as a deliciously sweet and citrusy traditional Belgian-style ale fermented with wild honey from the African Bronze Honey Company and a fresh ground Seville orange peel sourced locally from Old Town Spice Shop in Fort Collins, Colorado.
It's a delicious beverage.
Oh,
it's a fucking classic palate.
Oh, it's good. So good. I want to say that like Pilsner 2-row, a little Vienna, probably some honey malt. I mean, that could also just be like the African.
That's the honey.
That straight honey.
There's nothing beyond honey. Pilsner and 2-row in this beer. There's nothing beyond it. Maybe wheat, but yeah, no.
Yeah, but the wheat I feel would add like a haziness to this beer, and this beer is bright as fuck.
Well, the wheat could drop out depending on what kind of wheat it was.
True.
This is Pilsner malt all the way through. There's Pilsner and raw honey. I guarantee you.
Really? Because the mouthfeel lends to something like Vienna or like a Munich.
If there's Vienna in there or Munich in there, I will stand corrected. If there's anything else in there, then I don't know what I'm talking about. But this is
what's the name of the beer?
The Honey Orange Tripel. It's a
Honey Orange Tripel.
New Belgium's Belgian Reserve.
The malt bill is clean as fuck.
It's so clean.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful beer.
I wonder what the hops they used in this were, because they are very, very, very light.
Holler and Strissel. That's my guess.
Holler and Strissel.
So the yeast was Trappist ale yeast.
Okay.
The hops was nougat, Styrian, and Savinski Goldings, or maybe it's Savinski Goldings.
Okay, Styrian Goldings. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the malt was Pale, Munich, and Pilsner.
Oh, well, gosh. We got the Munich in there, didn't you?
Yeah, there was something about that body.
285 calories, just,
Yeah,
for the sake of
I'm already fat.
10% ABV and 25 IBU.
Oh yeah.
That's a fantastic.
I had a feeling there was Vienna or Munich in this, just based on the way that the malt profile played with the honey, and it just makes like this creamy mouthfeel, which is fucking awesome.
This is very natural sweetness. That's pretty fucking wonderful. Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, we have one last beer to drink, Thomas.
Yep,
and we
you guys do. I am extremely excited to hear about this one. Does one of you want to introduce the next beer that you have going on while y'all both work on cracking that and pouring it into your glasses?
T, would you tell us what the beer is, and then I'll go ahead and do a little talking about the whole.
We got our hands on a blended beer from a brewery called Liefmans out of Belgium. It is a creek beer, and not in like crick as the thing that like runs by your cousin's house, like crick beer or creek beer. So it's aged on cherries for, I believe the description on this one read somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3 years. It is made or coordinatedly made by a lady who goes by the name of Mama Rose, who has been overseeing the brewing at Liefmans for the last 46 years.
That's insane.
They did, the Liefmans did go bankrupt back in 2008, and they were bought by another company, and some of their beers were moved over to another brewery called Het Anchor. It's HETANKOR, Het Anchor. We do have one of those beers tonight, but it is not brewed by a female. So we decided to 86 that one from the list.
The lady that brewed this beer.
But the lady that was in charge of the design of
that
this
has
recipe,
been brewing this for 46
who's been working for this company for 46 years. She is 96 years old.
She's been working there for less than half of her fucking life.
Almost half of her life she has been with this company. Now, Liefmans has been open since like the 1600s or something, or the late 1600s.
That's insane.
And I am super excited about it. CJ,
you got this over at Bricks, right?
I did. Shout out to Bricks Bottle Shop for hooking it up with the New Belgium triple and the Liefmans blended cherry aged ale. Shout out to CJ for going to pick up the Flatheads.
If you're in the Flathead Valley, go to Bricks Bottle Shop down in Kalispell. They have good beer.
Talk to Jacob or talk to Raymond. They will definitely point you in the right direction of the things that you are looking for. Bricks Bottle Shop, Kalispell, Montana, 59901.
That shout out aside, I want you guys to drink this beer and tell me everything about it.
I'm gonna have to. I want to rinse my glass for this one because
I think you should.
It needs to be a clean glass for this. So,
do we need an interlude? Should I just sit here and talk for a while and describe to the brewers how jealous I am of your delicious beers coming?
You and CJ are going to rap a little bit while I go take care of the things.
We're going to rap a little hip hop, a hippie to the hip hip hop. You don't stop. A rocking to the bang bang boy. They don't stop the rocking to the boogie of the beat.
I got nothing. More beer.
No, CJ, I am curious. Like, I mean, I know we don't want to talk too much about our own personal experience in this episode because we are who we are, right? Like, but as a brewer, I feel like you have a little bit more validity to talk. Like, what do you see when it comes to, like, if you walk up to a table with 10 brewers and one of them is a girl, like in the industry, where are you at with that? Like, I know you personally aren't going to be judgmental there, but like, what do you see going on a regular basis? Like,
I mean, I would start out and say I think that judgment is something that we are all, again, we're taught.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to unteach. I spent time in this industry for a very long time in kitchens and in breweries. Of course, there's a stigma of women who come in who are very competent in what they do. And the general reaction is to always be like, oh, you brew. It's like, yeah, I fucking brew, dude. I fucking make some pretty good shit, you know. And it's like, it's a very shocking thing for some people. I don't know. From what I've seen, the whole industry needs to come to a reckoning, if it were, in terms of how we value people as a whole and how we recognize that there are, if you hire a dude, there are weaknesses too. You know what I mean? They're
I feel
fucking
like more.
weak. They're like I would be the first to put my weaknesses out on the table.
Yeah.
And say, like, I work for a company I'm so grateful that they take my shit. So why is it so different when we talk about the opposite sex? Why is it all of a sudden, why does it become lazy, or why does it become incompetent? That is fucking ridiculous.
I just kind of drew this parallel in my mind while you were talking, but to me it almost feels kind of like auto shops and the car industry and like auto repair shops, right? Like you and I go into I dropped my truck off to get repaired a few days ago, and I walk in and all I get is fucking straight up service. And then they called me a few days later, told me something that I already knew was already wrong with my truck. And I was like, yeah, no, it's all good. I don't need that fixed. And, you know, I walk out of there with the same price they quoted me. But I have friends, like female friends, who have walked into shops recently and been quoted things that they already knew they personally fixed. And these are girls who are way the fuck more competent working on cars than I am. Right? Like, I don't really know that much about cars. I know just enough to get by. And these are girls who have repaired everything on their own cars since they were like 14. And yet I'm getting treated with respect because I have a big ass beard. And they're getting treated as if they don't know anything. And they have to fight for the same price on repairs and the same treatment with repairs than I do. And I feel like it's kind of similar in the brewing industry, where like a girl who is an insanely talented brewer, if she wants to prove that and wants to be a part of that industry, like they're not treated the same. They have to show that they know what they know, versus a guy can just come in with a big ass beard and like, oh yeah, I was a brewer for so many years, and they're just assumed to have that knowledge, right? Like
it's
the stigmata that surrounds that is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's very pervasive in the service industry. It's very pervasive in the brewing industry. And it's a problem because if somebody knows more than I do, fuck yeah, I want to hear that shit.
I don't
Like,
take
how
that
the
as
fuck do you
I don't
learn
take that as a
besides hearing
threat.
that?
Tell me everything that you know, so that I can learn from you.
Jesus, fucking teach me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
And-
exactly. I don't find that to be threatening. I find that to be
right.
like,
unfortunately,
it's a
most
very-
guys do find that as a threat.
We
right?
are
Like,
creating a culture where learning is threatening, and that's very, very severe. And it obviously impacts women.
I could dive
and
so
people.
far into that
Yeah.
conversational piece.
We are
but-
creating an industry. We're creating a culture where learning is a problem, and I find that to be gross from its own natural misogynistic and racist tendencies, But I also find it to be gross in the idea that like that's not how the human brain works. You want to grab somebody and throttle them sometimes. Oh God, Josh is still. I don't know if he's still. Oh no, he's still there.
No,
Okay,
no.
good.
He's
I'm
listening
here.
intently.
We
Is this how I listen? Do I listen to the microphone?
Yeah, put your ear to the mic.
We're creating a culture, Josh, not to yell into your ear. Where it's okay to believe that because we receive some sort of information, we understand it 100%, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No one's had to bleed for anything anymore. No one's had to fucking put their hands in the dirt for knowledge anymore. And so in America, we create that shit and we say like, well, you know that because you're an American. You know that because you're white or because you're male or because you know, and that is very destructive. And we have people out there. We have people of color. We have women. We have people of all different iotas burning this shit down to the ground saying, hey, guess what I can do?
I
And
don't care.
we won't even look at them because of where they're at, you know, and it's incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating.
I don't care if you're a dude or a woman that used to be a dude or a dude that used to be a woman. If you can make good beer,
Or a dude or woman who doesn't want to be either anymore.
whatever. Let's just sit down and have a conversation about what you did to do your thing.
I just want to hear how you made the beer. I really don't care what's between your legs while you did it.
No, and it's none of my business. And I don't care how you orientate yourself or what sex you prefer to sleep with, or none of those things matter. It's about the beer. And if it's made by men or women or people of color or trans people or anyone in the fucking LGBTQ fucking plus range, like, I don't give a shit. I don't have time to spend energy on things that literally don't make a difference in my life.
I will go
I
on
want to
record
talk to you
saying-
about the beer and the process of the beer. Man, woman, ape, alien. I don't give a shit if you're from, like, if you think that you're from another fucking planet. It doesn't matter.
I will go on record saying, I will blatantly put this out there and fucking fight me if you disagree. I will say probably at least 75%, if not more, of the worst beers in the world were made by cis white dudes within the last 15 years.
I absolutely agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
Because that has been the majority of brewers, and they all feel like they have shit to prove. They're the ones who are stuffing fucking IPAs with, let me just put every fucking hop in here so I can make it bigger and better.
Let me add lactose. Let me throw donuts and fucking Fruit Loops into my mash.
You get,
like,
female brewers coming in. You get transgender brewers, any other race of brewers coming in, and they're trying to prove themselves based on the merit of how good of beer they make. And if anything, they're trying harder because they know they have to, which is bullshit.
This beer is really good. It was made by someone that's transgender. I don't know how I feel about this anymore.
Like, they know they have to prove themselves more. As bad as that is, they do know that. And so in many cases, like, I don't ever want to boil it down to that point, but if I was to pick a beer between those two styles of brewers, I'd probably pick anyone besides a cis white male because I know that they have more to prove. I know that in today's industry and the way that it's been, they need to try harder to make something good. And I would rather try their delicious beer than support some fucking idiot who just learned how to throw hops into a fucking malt extract and make a beer.
With that being said, let's talk about I
want to hear about this.
At the time, 90-year-old woman that was behind the process of making this blended cherry ale.
Please do not skimp on the description because I want this beer.
The aromatics are insane. It smells like wood and cherries and sour Oh, I haven't even taken a sip
Does
yet.
does it smell like cherry wood? I couldn't help myself. Drinking a cherry wood smoked ale.
I quit making beer. This is the most delicious thing I've ever had. There is the right blend of cherry, syrup, carbonation, grist, and hops.
It's a pretty perfect beer.
Holy shit balls.
It's a pretty perfect. It's a pretty perfect beer.
It's a PPB.
Oh, holy shit balls.
It's a tiny bit sweet for my taste, but it rocks some cigar smoke, some fucking cherry, some leather, and some nice caramel all together, all while being tart and refreshing. It's a pretty perfect beer.
Ah,
It's pretty nice.
Thomas is over here having a stroke over this beer.
no, what I'm doing
And
is
this and this
While
will be-
Thomas dies, CJ, why don't you really go into depth?
I honestly
describing
need to
this
go
beer?
change my underwear because I think I just came in my pants. That is the most.
Thomas, we're not supposed to say that during an episode with three cis white dudes talking about women brewers.
well,
Somebody was going to slip up at some point. Someone was going to make the slip, and I'm glad it was me.
you.
I always make that slip. It was me. Holy shit!
To my math, Rosa Merckx is 96 years old. She's been brewing for Leafmans for 4 decades or more now. She was also the first woman to open up a pipeline for unique Belgian beers to America, which is great. We would not have Duchess. We would not have so many different Belgian beers if it wasn't for her really pushing for that shit to go to America. So that's pretty incredible in the beer world.
For the amount of flavor and thickness to this beer, it's only 6%.
And it's probably got almost no measurable sugar in it. Like, wrap your mind around that. You know, this is some pretty masterful brewing right here.
Oh,
I mean, I will say, I will go on record saying, male or female, if you're 96 years old and you've been brewing for the same brewery for over 4 decades, and most likely at that point professionally for probably closer to like 6 or 7 decades, you better have that shit down. But that is not to discredit the fact that she is brewing at 96 years old.
Right.
Like, that's fucking impressive.
If anyone out there is a Tootsie Pop fan and you like the cherry Tootsie Pops,
I like those.
This is a carbonated alcoholic version of a cherry Tootsie Pop.
That's true.
It's fucking delicious.
Can someone just bring that to me and shove it down my gullet because I want it?
Hey, listen, we're not supposed to talk about shoving things into places when we're talking about women in the fucking industry, okay?
Hey, it's
If
better
I'm
than
gonna
talking
fucking
about coming
take
in
a
your
hit,
pants.
somebody else is going down with me.
I didn't say that's what she said on numerous things that I wanted to.
Well, since we're going down that rabbit hole, it's probably a good time to wrap this episode up.
Three white dudes are now drunk and probably going to start making
we made
very
it a
bad
while
jokes.
before we failed. That being said,
we did pretty
like, on a
good.
very sincere note, seriously, thank you to every woman in this industry who has progressed it, who has fought for their rights, who has pushed the envelope, made things better, and not just in terms of like making good beer, but like starting restaurants that actually care, just every single iota, because it has been a fucking fight.
Any woman
And
that has started
people
her own
who
business,
look like us have made that harder for you, and I apologize for them. I apologize for us.
as
I
a
apologize for any
collective-
part I've played in that. Like,
as a collective white male podcast, we apologize to you for the non indiscriminate ways that other people have approached you.
and I look forward to having a couple more episodes of getting to hear those other perspectives. I know this was three fucking white dudes talking about female brewers in the industry. We're going to continue to do better for the next episodes, and we want to dedicate that to these girls and women and anyone in between who has made a huge difference in our industry, because I want it to be better. 10 years later, I want to look back at today and be like, man, we were fucked up then, but look how awesome it is now.
100%, Josh. Tell the people where they can find you.
Fucking everywhere. No.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the Viking Peaches, Josh Reports, Project Enjoy Every Day, on pretty much every platform. Look up any of those things, you'll find me.
Project Enjoy Every Day, Josh Reports.
The Viking Peaches, Josh Reports. Actually, I just recently started a new Instagram page. I have 5 Instagrams now.
Oh my God.
Josh Saran Photography is separate from everything else now. And just look for me. Look for a giant beard and bend. Come down to J-Dub. Say what's up. I'll pour you a drink.
And the way I understand it is CJ,
I think CJ might be a little
CJ
less
over
secretive these
here
days.
is now on the Instagrams.
There is one I will never check. There was one I will never check.
He'll never check it, but he's there.
But I am there now. And if you didn't catch already my handle, go fuck yourself.
Oh,
Ooh.
we're not allowed. We're not allowed to say
Very
that either.
private person.
We can't say that
Very
either.
private person.
And you can find me at cousin_T or on Facebook, also the same. If you want to follow the podcast, Final Gravity, go to instagram.com/final.gravity.podcast. If you want to support this podcast, go to patreon.com/finalgravitypod.
And if you want to follow us personally, find us at any brewery in the Flathead Valley or Central Oregon, and you might see us there.
You goddamn
It'll be
right.
creepy, but say what's up.
And as always, no sets left behind, motherfuckers. Finish your beers, no dead soldiers. We're the fuck out of here. Thanks.